Welcome alle sammen! Special video for you all today. The largest and in my opinion the best Norse Pagan gathering in the world, Midgardsblot. Most of you have heard of it, a festival in August completely Viking themed. If you haven't heard of it, buckle up with your drinking horns while I walk you through all the parts of this iconic event for our community. So first, the location. We are in Borre, a little area in Vestfold, Norway, actually just 20-30 minutes drive from where I'm from. So Borre is an incredible place. It's a cultural heritage site with many large burial mounds dated to the Viking Age. They have set up a tourist center and built a fully reconstructed Viking Age replica hall there. It's a very sacred place too that I've been visiting since I was a kid, but this year was actually my first time at this festival too. I was always broke or in school or working when I was living in Norway, so I could never afford to come to this. So it was my first time here as well, and I was just excited as you guys are. So most people will camp there right next to the festival grounds, but our group from Patreon stayed in a massive beautiful house in Åsgårdstrand, just a 5-minute drive away, one of the nicest towns in Norway, and we had a hell of a comfortable time in nice beds with jacuzzi and pre-drinks by the beach, but camping looked very cool too, and a great community there if you'd like to camp. But if you would like a bit more comfort, yeah, you can get an Airbnb nearby or hotel instead of camping. It's actually very well set up with buses going to and from the festival until late in the night. The first day of the festival was Wednesday, where there was an opening ceremony. It was a proper Norse blōt, about as historically accurate as, at least as it could get under the circumstances. Beautiful drums played by some of the artists there, and everyone who wanted to get their turn to redden the statues of the gods with the blōt twigs could do so, as you see here. This was actually my second favorite part of the whole festival and the most pagan element to it. Once the festival got going, you will see that it's primarily a metal festival. Yes, of course, you have the experimental folk bands playing there with their ancient instruments. You have bands like Borte for Nordavinden, Nebala, and of course Heilung and Vardruna. They have played there in recent years as well, and hope they will again. But the bulk of the bands at the festival are definitely more of a black metal style, which for me was awesome. Growing up in the 90s into that stuff, Norse paganism and Norwegian black metal go hand in hand for me, but some people were surprised at the amount of metal there, but most people liked it. My favorites this year were Nebala, Tyr, and the legendary Finntroll, who were actually very difficult to see live. But the music there is only half of the whole package. There are so many more activities like games and events like sword fighting that anyone can both view or you can compete in it if you like as well. There are also tons of tents and merchants selling various things, all the way from the largest retailer in the community, Grimfrost, who had a great tent, to tents selling band merch, to smaller local craftsmen selling jewelry, instruments, and all kinds of other Norse-related things. Also, I was very happy with the food here. Festival food, especially in Norway, is usually overpriced garbage, but here it was actually great food. Lots of choices from tacos to spring rolls to traditional Norwegian food like fish or elg. As for the drinks, not too great of a selection of drinks there, I can admit. I recommend pre-drinks, as I always do. But to my surprise, the drinks in the festival were actually pretty reasonably priced for being in Norway, and I just happened to invent a drink here called the mead bomb. So yeah, beer and mead were definitely the bulk of what was offered here. You could also have a wander into the reenactment area. So that was a whole area of the festival where there were people camping and dressed up as they would have done in the Viking Age. And you can also trade with people in there and get some food and drinks or other items if you like. As for the people in the festival, like the crowd, the first 2 days I was surprised at the amount of Americans. They traveled from very far. I didn't think there was going to be any, but there was quite a bit. It was as I expected, vast majority of people traveling just from mainland Europe, so lots of Europeans there, but I was very surprised at the number of Norwegians too. maybe not the first 2 days, but when the weekend came along, when I got to Friday and Saturday, it was mostly Norwegians at the festival, which I was so happy to see from my home country, where it seems like most people are doing their very best to forget their amazing past and move towards the modern age as fast as possible. But the number of great Norwegians at this festival still interested in the old ways really warmed my heart here, and I was happy to see that. And it really was a festival for people of all ages. You could see children there all the way up to grandparents. My absolute favorite stage was after they closed the main stages, actually. After the outdoor music stopped, they let us all into the hall. And in there was an epic vibe, almost like a Viking style rave. Legendary. I could have stayed in there the whole festival if it was open. That was it. Finished about 2 in the morning, something like that. My number one favorite part, though, of the entire festival was the bonfire after everything shut down. The festival closed and people left. A short walk through the sacred burial mounds to the campsites. It was an amazing bonfire by the sea where they played drums and other traditional music until the sun came up. Out of respect for what happened there and the privacy of the people there, I did not film anything, but a good friend, Nilan, did let me use some of his footage here. Shout out to him and his YouTube channel. Great brother from Midgardsblot in the beautiful land of the Frisians. You should all check out his channel. I put the link down below. But yeah, the events that took place at the bonfire, let's just say they would not be allowed to be posted on YouTube there. So if you were there, you know. If not, yeah, you gotta see it to believe it. So that's about it. Final part, I did take our group on the tour of Vestfold during our trip to Midgardsblot. In the daytime, we saw all the most famous burial mounds and historical sites in the area. You can check all that out in the video I did here. And if you'd like to join us next year, we will be making the trip to the festival every year in our group. You don't have to subscribe on Patreon forever, but you do need it to have access to our Discord group, where we start to plan it out every January. And we do, the group has to get to know you a little bit first to make sure everyone coming to the house is going to be cool. So check it out if you would like to join our group for next year. But I recommend everyone go to the festival anyway at some point in their life, whether they camp or do a hotel or house or whatever. We're about 10, 15 of us there from the group last year, and going to be much more next year, and lots more amazing people that we met, and like I said, thousands and thousands of followers of the old ways, and we all share that in common. Like I said, I couldn't make it for many years, but now that I have the resources, I can try to make it there every chance I get, and I hope you can all join us and do the same. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I inspired you to want to go. Vi ses nästa gång.